The whispers have turned into screams, Ivanka, and the spotlight is burning hotter than ever. Your polished image, that carefully curated facade of grace and ambition, is cracking under the weight of questions that won't stay buried. What are you hiding behind those poised smiles and designer dresses? Your father's shadow looms large, tangled in a web of allegations, from Jeffrey Epstein's sordid empire to the murky dealings of beauty pageants and model agencies. The world is watching, and the dots are connecting in ways that demand answers. Let's rip the veil off and talk about it. You were there, Ivanka, in that photo, smiling alongside your father, your brother, Jeffrey Epstein, and John Casablancas. Yes, that John Casablancas, the man who ran elite model management, a name now synonymous with allegations of abuse and exploitation of minors. He was your father's close ally, a partner in beauty pageants and modeling ventures. Casablancas, who died in 2013, left a trail of wreckage, accused of preying on girls as young as 15, abandoning his first wife for one, then his second for a 17-year-old. This is the man your father chose to mentor you, to guide your modeling career when you were just a teenager. Elite model management wasn't just a stepping stone for you. It was a world steeped in accusations of predatory behavior. And yet, there you were, at 15, strutting their runways, posing for their campaigns, and brushing off the whispers with a smile. You spoke about your modeling days with such conviction, didn't you? On Inside Edition, you insisted you modeled because you loved it, not for money or fame. My family has money, and they can support me, you said, dismissing claims of greed. But the New York Times painted a different picture, one that raises eyebrows. They described you at 15, showing up to interviews in a floor-length, see-through white dress. A teenager in a transparent gown. Ivanka. What was that about? Were you just a young girl chasing a dream? Or was something else at play? The images don't lie. There you are, perched on your father's lap, his hands on your shoulders, or standing beside him with Epstein and Casablancas, all grinning like nothing's wrong. The optics are chilling, and the questions they raise are louder than ever. Then there's that moment, the one that haunts anyone who's seen it. You're giving a tour of your childhood bedroom, standing in Trump Tower on the 68th floor, and you pause when you see your bed. This was my bed, you say, your voice trailing off. It's a little small for me now. Probably why I don't stay here anymore. Your eyes linger, and for a split second, something flickers, pain, maybe, or memory you'd rather not face. It's hard to watch without wondering what you're holding back. Was it just a nostalgic pause, or does that bed carry a weight we can't see? The public can only speculate, but speculation grows when the pieces don't fit. Your modeling career wasn't just a footnote. It was a chapter written in the shadow of elite model management scandals. You were the face of Mugler and Sasson campaigns, a rising star, as you put it, who didn't rely on her last name. But let's be real, your last name opened doors, and those doors led to rooms where predators like Casablancas operated. You were 15, Ivanka, walking runways in outfits that raised eyebrows, like that see-through dress. And while you claimed the public's opinion was what mattered, the public now wonders, what did you see? What did you know? Elite's history is riddled with stories of young girls exploited, their dreams twisted into nightmares. Were you shielded from that, or did you glimpse the darkness? And then there's your father. His words about you have always carried an edge that unsettles. On The View, he joked about dating you if you weren't his daughter. On Wendy Williams, he said you shared an interest in sex. He called you voluptuous, a piece of ass, with the best body. These aren't the words of a doting father. They're the words of a man who blazed lines that should never be blurred. He judged beauty pageants alongside Casablancas, events filled with girls as young as 14, scrutinized for their poise and indefinable something extra. Your father was in the thick of it, Ivanka, and you were right there too, a teenager navigating a world where power and predation often wore the same face. The questions don't stop with modeling or pageants. Your mother, Ivano, casts another shadow. Her death in 2022, allegedly from a fall down the stairs of her Manhattan apartment, raised more than a few eyebrows. Why was she buried so quickly, in a plot at your father's Bedminster golf course, of all places? The Daily Mail showed photos of her grave, overgrown with weeds, a far cry from the dignity she deserved. Was it really just about tax breaks for turning the property into a cemetery? It feels ghoulish, disrespectful, and you stayed silent. Are you okay with your mother's resting place being a neglected corner of a golf course? Or is there more to this story? Something you're not ready to face? Then there's the book, The Lost Tycoon, by Harry Hurt III, which pulls no punches. It recounts Ivanka's deposition, where she described a violent assault by your father in 1989. She said he pinned her down, ripped out her hair, and raped her, leaving her terrified and fleeing to her mother's room. Ivanka later softened her words, insisting she didn't mean rape in a literal or criminal sense. But the details, her hair scattered across the bed, your father's chilling question, does it hurt? Paint a picture that's hard to dismiss. You were young then, Ivanka, but you've carried this legacy. What do you make of it? Do you believe your mother's retraction? Or do you wrestle with the possibility that there's truth in the original account? The pieces are piling up, Ivanka, and they form a puzzle that's hard to ignore. Your modeling days at Elite, your father's ties to Epstein and Casablancas, his unsettling comments about you, your mother's death and burial, all of it swirls together in a storm of questions. The public isn't just curious, they're demanding accountability. You've built a brand on elegance and empowerment, but the past keeps clawing its way back. What did you know about the world you were thrust into at 15? What did you see in those rooms filled with powerful men and vulnerable girls? And what do you carry now, behind those carefully composed eyes? You can't outrun this, Ivanka. The photos, the clips, the stories, they're all out there, and they're not going away. The pain in your pores, the unease in your father's words, the shadow of your mother's death, it all points to something deeper, something you've yet to address. The world is watching, and silence isn't an answer. You've got a voice. You've used it to build an empire. Now use it to tell the truth. What are you hiding? Because the longer you stay quiet, the louder the questions get. And they are not just about you. They are about a legacy of power, privilege, and secrets that's starting to unravel. The clock's ticking. Ivanka, what's it going to be?